Hello. Hi. Okay, getting us going here. Hi. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you for coming. Sorry, I'm running late today. I have had an interesting thing happen. This morning, I went to go do my broadcast as I do every day for years now. And my Facebook on my phone, there's nowhere for me to put a live at all. I guess I could try to add story, but I don't know how long that goes or if it's live or what, but it's really, really strange. So I'm over here in the Goddess Temple app and on YouTube, and I see you're finding me here. So good. And oops, sorry, Goddess Temple app. You're not seeing all of Guan Yin. There, no, we've got it. Okay. Yeah, so weird. But here we go. And maybe there's a way I can share the video onto Facebook later from YouTube, probably. Okay, so let's dive into today's form of Guan Yin. So today, the 5th, Guan Yin with the lotus. And here she is. Standing. She's wearing a ruffled dress. She's holding a lotus. She has a lotus crown, and she's standing on a lotus leaf, and then around her, the other leaves and lotus flower buds are rising. And she also has a lotus necklace. This is a beautiful form. And the key word of Guan Yin with the lotus is integrity. Guan Yin stands on a lotus leaf and holds a beautiful lotus flower. It represents the bodhisattva vow she took to help the sentient beings of all different worlds. And if you'd like to know that bodhisattva vow, it's in this book. Let me get it. It's in the, let's see here. I just saw it the other day. Where did it go? I thought it was like really right on one of these main first pages. But either way, I'll look for it and I'll post it in the comments afterwards since I'm not finding it right away. Here it is. All beings without number, I vow to liberate. Endless blind passions, I vow to uproot. Dharma gates beyond measure, I vow to penetrate. The way of the Buddha, I vow to attain. So, the lotus reminds us that she chose to take on the overwhelming task to help the sentient beings of all the different worlds in all the realms of existence on their path toward enlightenment. Then it shows that she faces that with an unshakable attitude. The lotus is also a symbol of purity, wisdom, and enlightenment as it rises from the murky swamp and unfolds its pure blossom above the water. This corresponds to the path that we follow when we strive for realization and liberation. In the human world, we take vows and make promises that we must observe. For example, we may vow to eat more healthful foods or be more supportive of others. If we fail to stay on this chosen path, great tensions can arise, and we may become estranged from our most cherished goals. Listen to the actions of the perceiver of sounds, how aptly she responds in various quarters. Her vast oath is deep as the ocean. Call upon Guan Yin with the lotus and ask her to provide you with clarity about personal integrity. Examine the promises you have made to yourself and to others, and contemplate whether you are, like Guan Yin, fully committed to what you have sworn to do. In some cases, it might be best to rethink your promises and formulate them anew, so that you will again be able to follow your spiritual path, the path of the lotus, with a whole heart. So, Today, we're going to really look at our thought, word, and action and see if it bespeaks the kind of integrity that we want to be carrying in this world, that we think we should be carrying in this world. And we're going to ask Guan Yin to help us navigate and negotiate what those virtues and values are that we bring of our integrity, our truth, our commitment, and our devotion. And today it fell on 77. Did we have 77 already? No, I think we had 72. So this is the Manho Kwok translation. In reality, in a dream, you're told how to find a great fortune. Your reputation and wealth lie beyond your grasp. Hardships exist, but they don't have to bring you down. A wise one will guide you, and then you will be laughing. So that is number 77. And some Banzai asked me yesterday, who is the translator? This is the Manho Kwok translation in a book co-authored with Martin Palmer and Jay Ramsey called Guan Yin, Myths and Prophecies of the Chinese Goddess of Compassion. And then we also have this book, which I'll read from now, called Guan Yin Temple Oracle. It's by Marina Lighthouse, and the translations are by Dr. Chris Wen Chao Li. And then there's a Stephen Karcher translation arriving sometime. Might even be in my mailbox. I haven't gotten out to look at it. I'll go today. Okay, so verse 77, the outlook is promising. And here is the Dr. Chris Wen Chao Li arrangement. Fame and fortune are but a flimsy mirage, like hills in the distance shrouded in cloud. When a nudge awakens you from your dream, you will better appreciate the here and now. Wow, I feel like I need to read both of those again because the translations are so different. Now, interestingly, a little note on methodology around these translations. When I read the description of the translation in this book, it said that Manho Kwok argued with the authors of this book because he wanted to present the essence of the poems, not merely the direct translation word by word, character by character, line by line. Ah, there is Banzai. What is the name of the text? Yes, I have it. This Banzai, these are called, oh, the name of the text. The text is the 100 Poems of Guan Yin. Sorry, I was a little slow on the uptake of that question. Banzai's asking me here, what is the text we're translating from? It's the 100 Poems of Guan Yin. They arise in maybe the 16th century in Imperial China. The authors collectively probably are unknown, but it's a body of work that's been in many different temples and used for divination, primarily by women. So Manho Kwok argued that he wanted to translate the spirit of the poem. And Martin Palmer and Jay Ramsey said, no, we think you should translate the actual transliteration character by character without including the subtler underpinnings of cultural meaning, so that those of us reading it would be reading the exact words. I'm not sure if I entirely agree with that methodology, but it's made for a very valuable resource for us, because obviously Dr. Chris Wen Chao Li translated more in, you can tell, because we know this one was translated with the letter of the law. This one is translated more in the spirit. So we've got, you know, this is sort of more the spirit of the text, and this is more the letter of the text. So I'm going to read these two aloud one more time because they're so different. In reality is the name of the poem. In a dream, you're told how to find a great fortune. Your reputation and wealth lie beyond your grasp. Hardships exist, but they don't have to bring you down. A wise one will guide you. Then you will be laughing. And this spirit of the translation, fame and fortune are but a flimsy mirage, like hills in the distance shrouded in cloud. When a nudge awakens you from your dream, you will better appreciate the here and now. I have so many questions. Like, where are the clouds in this one? Where's the guide in this one? We need the third translation. That's going to help us so much. We'll have it next week. Okay, in a reading, so Marina Lighthouse interprets, in a reading, this poem means that like a dream too good to be true, you should shelve your ambitions for fame or renown or stardom. Instead, wait patiently for the right moment to come, and the right person will point you in the right direction. Ah, I see. So she brings that idea of a guide into the reading, but does not specifically include it in the translation. Then the annotation is, like finding treasure in a dream, all is illusory and not real. Well, in these months of cold and pandemic and political unrest, it has been, tremendously comforting for me to know that I have, created a little space in the world where I can help. And it's really given me a lot of opportunity to reflect on the quality of help that I can offer. What can I actually offer? What can I actually do that will be of benefit to beings? And it's also given me a tremendous humility, maybe it's the same for you, around how little I feel like I can actually do. I mean, I can do certain things, like I've been able to help, some people with some things, but the biggest problems, the most enormous problems are beyond me to help. What can I do? It's like, I can only cast my one vote. I can only go and, insist on signing petitions and things like that. I went to one protest, but it's sort of silly to protest in Mount Shasta. It's silly because nobody really cares. It's not like it changes anything here. So sometimes we get these grand visions of things we might want to do. And there's nothing wrong with having a grand vision of what you want to do, especially if what you want to do is to help other people. But the grand vision of what we want to do and then what we're actually capable of doing might be different. And we have to learn not to be disappointed by that, not to be disappointed in ourselves, not to be disappointed in the circumstances, but just to do what we can. The other things, and this has been a very consistent message this whole week, is that the accumulations of this world, like money or having items or having followers online or whatever, fans or political clout or social clout, all of those seeming displays of power are actually illusory. They don't exist. There's nobody here to impress. There's nothing impressing. There's nothing actually happening that is so great that, there's nothing happening so great that it transcends our collective illusion. So just remember that when it's time to do your part, to just do your small part and to do it happily, to be happy about what your part is. And I'll do the same. I'm happy about what my part is. And Bonsai says so much more than one body in the streets, not to negate the value of that at all. No, not necessarily, no necessary as well. Oh, thank you. So this is, yeah, we do. Bonsai says we need the original Chinese. Yeah, I'll tell you more about the history of this, and I will post the books. So, all right, this is my muddled my way through the divination today. I'm so thrown off. I have to say, this has not been my shining week in practice. I suppose this is a good divination for me today. Don't seek fame or fortune. Definitely don't seek fame or fortune as a meditator if you're barely coherent at 8:30 in the morning and struggling to get your technology to work. But hopefully we end the week laughing, and we end the week laughing at the funniness of ourselves trying to make solidity out of illusion. So that's our short bit for today. If that's what you were here for, thank you for coming for this. And now we're going to do Guanyin practice. Let's start with 3 prostrations before the shrine. And let's take refuge. Namo Guru Be. I take refuge in the inner teacher. Namo Buddhaye. I take refuge in the great mother of compassion. Namo Dharmaye. I take refuge in the wisdom of the ages. Namo Sanghaye. I take refuge in the community of practitioners. And let's set our intention. A person, place, situation, or circumstance that will benefit from today's practice. And today, let's hold Michaela, who has been amazingly brave with a series of incredibly invasive and painful surgeries, up and down with her health over the last several weeks after a devastating diagnosis. But she is just so strong. She is just so strong, and she managed to get up and walk down the hall in the hospital yesterday. She is fighting for life, to stay alive and to enjoy a quality of life despite impossible obstacles, just very difficult obstacles. So for Michaela, and also today, we're holding for CARE's family members who still are suffering the after effects of COVID-19, holding for Gabby's mom, still struggling with the after effects of COVID-19, and anyone else who's, Jane, who is in hospice, and anyone else who is struggling right now. And let's recite the 4 immeasurables. May I be a source of loving kindness in this world and all worlds, bringing a generous heart to all my thoughts and doings. May I be a vehicle of compassion in this world and all worlds, ever mindful and aware of the tremendous suffering of others. May I be a brimming vessel of joy in this world and all worlds, delighting in the happiness of others as their suffering is alleviated. May I be a balance point of equanimity in this world and all worlds, seeing all as equals and all as deserving of goodness. I light this candle as a symbol of the enlightening Dharma way. May it shine brightly for the benefit of all beings. I want to break this one, this little bit of wax off. I light this incense as an offering for Guan Shi Yin, she who hears the cries of the world, mother of all. Om Ahum. 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 Reverently, I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind and present clouds of every type of offering, actual and virtual. I confess all my destructive actions accumulated since beginningless time and rejoice in the meditation of all holy and ordinary beings. Please, Guan Yin, remain until the end of samsaric existence and turn the wheel of Dharma for sentient beings. I dedicate my own merits and those of others to the great enlightenment. And let's call out to Guan Yin with 108 recitations of Namo Guan Shi Yin Pusa, asking for her with her amazing integrity to arise within our hearts and to help us discern the true value of our practice from the false values that we're often sold as success in the world. Namo Guan Shi Yin Pusa, 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 Namo Guan Shi Yin Pusa. Namo Guan Shi Yin Pusa, 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 Namo Guan Shi Yin Pusa. Namo Guan Shi Yin Pusa, 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 Namo Guan Shi Yin Pusa. Namo Guan Shi Yin Pusa, 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 Namo Guan Shi Yin Pusa. Namo Guan Shi Yin Pusa, Namo Guan Shi Yin Pusa, Namo Guan Shi Yin Pusa, Namo Guan Shi Yin Pusa. 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 Wherever there is space, 5 elements pervade. Wherever the 5 elements, the homes of living beings. Wherever living beings, karma and defilements. Wherever is defilement, my compassion also. Wherever is the need of beings, there I am to help them. To the hungry, I was heaps of food and all good things, and thus I brought them joy. To the cold and freezing, I was fire and sun warmth, thus their joy. To the poor and needy, I was wealth and riches, thus their joy. To the naked, I was every kind of raiment, thus their joy. To the childless, I was sons and daughters, thus their joy. To those who sought a lover, I was a loving and attractive consort, and thus their joy. To those who wanted magic powers, I gave prowess in the 8 great cities, and thus I brought them joy. To the sick, I was their remedy, and thus their joy. To the anguished, I was all their mind desired, and thus I was their joy. To those hard pressed by the punishments of despots, I was the loving friend to lead them to the land of peace, and I was thus their joy. To those in fear of wild beasts, I was a haven, thus their joy. To those who fell into the depths, I was their drawing out, and thus their joy. To those tormented in the fires, I was a quenching stream, and thus their joy. To those in prey to any of the elements, I was their medicine, and thus their joy. For those who could not see, I was their eyes and brought them joy. And for those who could not walk, I was feet, and thus their joy. I was a tongue for those who could not speak, and thus I brought them joy. To those in fear of death, I granted immortality, and thus I was their joy. I led the dying on the path of transference and brought them joy. To those who wandered in the bardo state, I was their spirit guide, bringing them to joy. I cooled the burning heat and warmed the cold of those lost in the realms of hell. Howsoever they were tortured, I changed myself to shield them, being thus their joy. To those who lingered in the land of hungry ghosts, I was their food and drink, and thus their joy. I was freedom from oppression and servitude for those caught in the wordless state of beasts, and thus I brought them joy. Those beings born in places of war, I protected them from strife and brought them joy. I was a truce from endless conflict for the demigods, and was thus their joy. The jealous gods I guarded from their bitter fall, and I was thus their joy. I shielded all from everything that tortured them, and was their every joy. You know, when we listen to those words by Yeshit Sogil, it really underscores the point in today's divination that each of us should act in a relative capacity to make the world a better place right where we are. It doesn't mean that what's happening in this physical, individually seeming body isn't real according to the individually seeming body. So according to the individually seeming body, there are individually seeming tasks that individually must be done, seem like they must be done. And we should take care of those tasks. That includes things like protesting or, writing letters to Congress or feeding the hungry or giving money to charity or doing reparations work. All of those things are real and necessary in the seeming body. But let's not forget that the seeming body is not where we really are, and that beyond the seeming body in this seeming reality, what is there? All there is pure joy. That's it. That's it. And so to be that joy in the world is to find ways to address what's going on, to address the difficulties and challenges that others suffer, to address iniquity. But let's just not forget that there is no basis for this reality that is objectively provable. So we can seek through our meditation to be what's needed, to be that joy in the world, just as we seek in the individually seeming reality to be what's needed. And it's a little bit of a difficult concept. I was just reading a wonderful article in The Atlantic this morning by, let's see if I can find it again, by Arthur, what's his name? Arthur Brooks, I think. Let me find it. Let's see, in the latest. And Looking for that, Arthur Brooks. He writes about meaning. He writes a column in the Atlantic Monthly about meaning, and he was talking about his work with His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and how the Dalai Lama teaches this. The Dalai Lama teaches you that you need to, have some. I can't find it now, but I'm pretty sure his name is Arthur Brooks. The Dalai Lama teaches that you need to have an awareness that your seemingly individual existence is not actually happening in light of the vaster existence of oneness of which we are all part. And that if it feels like a paradox to say that, it is, and that the paradox is the teaching. So let's think today about how we can go about being joy rather than thinking we have to be any one thing. Let's just try in every moment to be like, I'm here to be joy. I'm here to be joy. So how could I be joy here? So how could I be joy here? And let that guide us. And let's try that over this whole weekend. So now 108 recitations of Om Mani Padme Hum as we aspire to that joy. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Mani Padme Hum. Om 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 Mani Padme Hum. And let's give thanks for our teachers. May all of my blessed teachers enjoy long, happy, healthy, productive lives and great support for their good works. May all beings benefit from their wisdom. May they enjoy a swift and happy rebirth. And long life prayer for Lama Dechen Yeshe Wangmo. Om Sosti. Through the powerful blessings of the immortal Pema Jungye and his consort, may the three secret qualities of the Dakini of Supreme Bliss, Yeshe Wangmo, be utterly stable, and may the light of her activities shine on the lotus groves of the teachings and of beings, so that they blossom in radiant splendor. And let's dedicate the merit. May the merit of this practice and all of my activities be of endless benefit to all beings in all realms, beginningless and continuous. May all obstacles be overcome and suffering cease at the sound of liberation. May all beings be free from suffering and its causes. May all beings have happiness and its causes. May we carry the essence of Guanyin in our hearts. Namo Guanxian Pusa. And we close with a bow to Guanyin, bow to one another, and a bow to the inner teacher, and wishing you a wonderful day. Hopefully all good things and this Mercury retrograde be easy on you. And over this weekend, let's really work on dissolving our ideas of what it means to be anything other than joy. We're going to try to be joy wherever we go. And I will be back on Monday, I guess. I thought I was going to broadcast Tara practice tomorrow, but now I usually do that on Facebook. I'll make an announcement about it. I'm going to do a little further research and figure out what's going on. Thank you so much for coming today. And I see, yes, I see the Goddess app went off. So annoying. I'm going to have to send them a note today. that says what's going on. But I have a feeling this is just Mercury retrograde. And also, I did get a note today from the app developers that they're rolling out several bug fixes. And whenever they do that, it's glitchy for a day or two. But thank you all so much for hanging with me. I'm so grateful. Thank you for posting. I see 108, 108. I'm super grateful. Thank you for posting. I will make sure to include your counts. Much love, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.